Hello, TikTok. Thank you. Thanks for having me on TikTok. Thanks for letting me talk to folks. Please bring a lot of people, because I need to reach people that are interested in stopping the war and in stopping war in general, ending war forever. So that's always my goal, but I feel like right now is a very crucial time for achieving that goal. So thank you, TikTok, and thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Lucian and Sam and Ashley, for being here to stop the war. So, as far as stopping the war is concerned, there's going to be some really simple ways to do it where we can all participate. And then I know some things that smart people can do or magical people can do as well. We'll only be live for until 10 till, so about 9 more minutes. So thanks for being here now. Thanks for tapping the screen, comments, and things. Let me know where you're at, what you're understanding about this information. Basically, we stop the war by exposing the bad guys who are trying to start the war. Now, the bad guys who are trying to start the war, Netanyahu responsible for creating the situation that people are responding to in the first place. Netanyahu responsible for not protecting the country from the attack. Netanyahu responsible for ignoring intelligence or pretending they didn't get intelligence. And for withholding or restraining or whatever you want to call it, not sending help to the people who are being attacked. Why would he do all these things? Well, because Netanyahu also trying to use the attack to gain political unity or to gain political support and for an excuse to attack Gaza. So it's all really Netanyahu. Like, he's the one behind all of this, and in such direct and glaring ways. But I think if we just start talking about it, if we just make, thank you, if we just make a few, I'm glad you're here, cool guy. If we just make a few videos about it, then it'll start spreading around and they'll realize, oh wait, we got kind of taken in by this. And what we really need to do is just remove this one bad leader. No, I don't know if we're going to go live right now because I'm only live for about 6 more minutes. So we just have to remove this one bad leader. I made a couple videos about all this stuff I'm talking about right now recently, and then more a little bit earlier. Service unavailable. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I might have lost my connection there for a second. That was me. I got a little notification. But hopefully you can still hear me or stick with me for a second. But yeah, basically, if we expose that they're trying to create a war, I think some more recent information is about the fake evidence that they were presenting of atrocities. I'm sure that some atrocities were committed. I'm not saying that nothing bad was done, but I think they tried to make some of them appear a lot, tried to fake some things to make them appear a lot worse to gain sympathy, which is crazy and wrong, but also fits in with this whole idea that they let it happen, planned it to happen, or in various ways allowed it to happen in order to justify a war, which is just wrong. Calling it R9/11 is wrong on many different levels. But in this regard, it's wrong because that interpretation of 9/11, like when you're catching them in the act of doing it, of trying to orchestrate and lie to people to create a war, as long as you catch them, as long as you stop them and stop the war, then we're good. But it absolutely has to be done, and it can only be done with information. It can't be done with some type of show of force. I mean, I guess, but you don't really want to have the guy be seen sympathetically, and already they're gaining sympathy by being like, well, our country was attacked. The problem is if they set it up / ignored apparently Egypt let them know 3 days in advance, then they're to blame. They are to blame ultimately, or Netanyahu is to blame. His regime is to blame for being so tyrannical of oppressing those people for so long in the first place in creating these conditions, which was totally unnecessary. There's been plenty of opposition to that within Israel to keep them from doing that. They just, didn't go that way. But if they had gone that way, we would have avoided all of this horror right now. But there's still a lot of potential horror that everyone's anticipating and was starting that can be avoided. And then especially like if it comes out, however, whenever it comes out that that Netanyahu planned this or orchestrated or allowed it, you're going to feel real bad for having stormed in a war against just innocent people, and taking out all your rage when most of that rage really does deserve to be directed towards your own leadership for misleading you, for creating a situation, for allowing it to be as bad as possible in order to justify a war. That's just, it's just multiple levels of wrong here. But the very first basic level of wrong, even if you don't believe anything else I'm saying, is being oppressive to the Palestinians so that creating the conditions in the first place. Then you have to acknowledge it didn't protect the country. That's just a failure, just like Bush failed to protect America. It's a failure, and they should be removed for that failure or resigned for that failure. But, that's, again, just obvious. Then as far as not sending the help in time, that seems to me very suspicious. I guess there could be like an explanation for it or a reason for it or an excuse for it, but to me it just seems highly suspicious. Followed by calling it their 9/11, followed by begging for the political parties to unite behind you, seems to suggest that was the plan all along. This is a way to get the political parties to unite behind you and a way to start a war, and basically planned it. And then, yeah, I think America, there's plenty of America on the side of, I guess it's, I can't tell what, it looks kind of like the Colorado flag in a way. I can't tell exactly what your other flags are. But there's plenty of America on the side of freedom, of, against tyrants. So I'm for Israel overthrowing Netanyahu. I'm for Israel because it'll free Israel to overthrow Netanyahu. It's in Israel's best interest to not have Netanyahu. Oh yeah, you're the CIA guy? Well, then don't worry about that. I appreciate you like talking to me in good faith or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you're in the corrupt business, but it's been corrupted. I mean, the idea of having an intelligence agency, I mean, there could be a good way to do that, but having it get twisted around to serve fascist forces is obviously wrong. And that's the same for our government. We've got all sorts of people in government who got twisted around to fascist forces. We're only going to be live for about one or two more minutes. So thanks for being here with me. Doing good, thanks. How are you? Just trying to end the war by exposing that Netanyahu's basically responsible for it. Just remove him, save Gaza, save all the soldiers and civilians and everybody who'll otherwise be hurt. And basically, check out some of my recent videos. I explain it all. But basically, let's just expose Netanyahu. Let's not allow this Gaza war to start or to get any worse, to really get started. And let's not allow an invasion to take place, because no one's going to feel good about this invasion after they find out that it happened under false pretenses, because Netanyahu lied to them and made it as bad as possible. No one's going to feel happy about having hurt innocent civilians for a bad leader, when really they can just, yeah, I know lots of stuff. I don't know specifically what you're curious about, but as I was saying before, I'm only live for 10 minutes at a time, and those 10 minutes are now up. So if you want to specify your question, I'll try to answer it, but like I said, I was going to close it down. So, yep, just expose these guys who pretended like they didn't know, didn't respond in time, didn't protect their people, and as it turns out, ignored advance warning, seemed to have set it up in order to start a war, and they should be stopped for that. Thanks. We should never allow that to happen.